Well, hey, Pastor Matt here, and I'm so excited because for our 52 Stories series, you get to hear from a good friend, AJ Vega. AJ is a director of Christian education in Austin, Texas, where he is also training to plant a church. AJ has not only been a DCE for several years, but he's also one of the National Youth Gathering MCs at the last National Youth Gathering. AJ is just an incredible guy, and I'm so excited you guys get to meet him. AJ, thank you for taking the opportunity to have a conversation with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor to share just a little bit and share a little bit of my experiences. So I originally grew up on Long Island in New York, was there for 18 years, went to elementary, middle school, high school there, and then I left from there and went to Austin, Texas, and went to school at Concordia, so to study to become a director of Christian education. I'm both Black and Hispanic. I'm Puerto Rican on my father's side. And so for me, like whenever I'm driving, whenever I see a cop, I know to slow down and to follow the rules. But I also have this deep fear inside of me that there could be a situation that could happen exactly to me. And not only that, but my experience, I'm married to my wife, Chrissy, who happens to be a white woman living in America as well. And so not only am I trying to watch out for myself, but I'm also trying to watch out for her as well. Being able to have those conversations because she's in this experience with me as well. And even as an interracial couple, going into restaurants, I've seen people give stares and just look us up and down, not being treated the same as a white person might feel kind of on their own. And so it's been hard. It's been an adjustment, especially during this time with everything going on. And it's not to say that all cops are bad, right? But there is a fear that has happened and has grown from these experiences and things that we've seen in the media that has put fear into our lives as a Black man living in it. I appreciate, first of all, you asking that because unfortunately there are some churches and some church leaders that aren't asking that question. But right now the Black community is hurting. I mean, that's one of the best ways to put it. And for me, it's been an emotional past couple of weeks, specifically, especially over the tragedy that we saw with George Floyd. And so being able to kind of wrestle with those things as a Black man living in America, but also as a Lutheran in our church. One of the things that the church can do is to start just having the conversation openly. And it really needs to come from the leaders first, being able to name it very specifically, not just talking about tragedy, not just talking about people of all different colors or ethnicities, but specifically what's happening right now in America, that there is injustice happening within our Black community. Black people are being killed left and right in America. And I truly believe that the church should be in the front lines, regardless of denomination. But a Lutheran church, our theology speaks right into this, that we were born into evil, into sin, and that we are inherently evil. And so we should be the first ones to speak up whenever there is evil that happens in the United States. And I really think it's about time that we start educating our young people and really starting to have this open conversation, not just behind the pulpit, but in conversations at home and encouraging those conversations at home to talk about what it's like for us to be able to engage in a way that Jesus is calling us to be able to love our neighbor. Because right now, our neighbors that are hurting are Black. And we want to encourage people to have those conversations with people out in their community, whether it is Black people or Asians or Hispanics, whoever it might be, but having that mentality that there's something wrong. There's a huge injustice that's happening across our nation, specifically with the Black community. And for us to be able to be bold enough to say, let's have a conversation and walk in with humility, not having an agenda, and being bold to be able to listen fully to their story and their experience, right? Because when we say nothing, that means that we're saying everything. And that comes off really bad. So for us to be able to boldly say something and to speak up means that we're actually caring for the subject that's at hand. But also having that realization that whatever you say, having the humility to be able to say, I don't have it all together, I don't know everything, and I want to be able to learn and start to understand from your perspective, maybe as a Black human that you're talking to, or maybe it's from someone else, part of your congregation. being humble enough to have the empathy to listen, and to not walk in with an agenda as well. But understanding that you might end up saying the wrong thing, but being humble enough to make the correction to move forward, being bold enough to say, I want to be able to learn. And I know a lot of people have been putting up resources lately on different books and just different things to be able to be on the lookout for and to learn about. Taking that time to listen and to learn. I'm going to share just a little bit about my pastor, that on Sunday we were doing our live stream service, and as he was praying, he was so passionate about wanting to share what's been happening over the past month, over the past couple of weeks, over the past couple of days. And as he was praying, he did just a more generalistic kind of prayer, just talking about violence or just talking about injustice. And afterwards, I pulled him aside and I was like, we have to be better about this, that we have to speak it very specifically, because if we as leaders are saying things very generalistic, then we're encouraging other people to not talk about it. And that we have to be able to be bold enough to use the words like racism or Black community or racial injustice or police brutality. But I just don't want to throw books out and throw out resources, because change happens when we talk to people, right? And I really think that's kind of the first step in being able to have change happen within our own church.
Well, AJ, I want to thank you for not just throwing us a book, but being willing to be in conversation with us, and for encouraging Bethlehem in how we can step into this season well. Because, as Christians, we're called, where there's injustice, to speak out well to the injustice.